What's going on, everybody, and welcome to the Other Side of the Firewall podcast, where we talk about the latest and greatest in cybersecurity news, as well as we highlight those movers and shakers and glass ceiling breakers, those people of color who've made it to the other side of the proverbial firewall. My name is Ryan Williams, and as always, I'm joined by Shannon Tynes.
What's up? What's up?
What's going on? So, Happy New Year if you're listening to this in the correct order, I guess. Typically, we skip the holidays, so this is a special treat, right? We're on for Christmas, now we're on for New Year's. So, definitely continue to tune in. Monday, Tuesday, our topics, Wednesday, discussion. Thursdays will be a throwback where we go back into the archive. We have over 516 episodes, and then Fridays, everything else movies, books, games, all that good stuff. So, without further ado, I'll give it to Shannon.
All right, everybody. So this article actually comes from insurancejournal.com, and it's written by Jeff Stone and Ryan Gallagher. The title of this one is U.S. seizes BlackCat ransomware site offering decryption tools. So we've seen this before, right, where the U.S. starts going after these ransomware gangs, and they got another one, right? So the Justice Department sees websites belonging to the Russian-speaking ransomware group that have got millions of dollars like over the years, right? So it's BlackCat, right? ALPHV, Noborus, right? We've talked about them before. They're very popular, right? They're very good at what they do, even, right? I hate to say that. I hate to give them the credit, but the U.S. Justice Department, they were like, all right, enough of this, right? So so their website themselves actually broadcast a message saying that U.S. officials are taking control of the page, right? So the FBI, what they ended up doing was they developed a decryption tool, right, that enabled U.S. and international law enforcement agencies to help more than 500 victims restore their computer systems, according to the Justice Department, right? So these people that they were asking for money, to get their information back. The Department of Justice was like, nah, we got you. You know what I mean? So they came out with a decryption tool, gave it out to them for free. You know what I mean? And then said, hey, go ahead and get your stuff back. You know what I mean? Or gain visibility back to your stuff, right? Because here's the thing. There's no telling what the gang has done with the information that they had, right? Like they had it for who knows how long in some of these instances, right? It doesn't necessarily say how long they had or who was attacked and how long they had the information, but they could still have that information. They could still make it available out there, right? What they did here, what the Justice Department did here was just provided the decryption tool to the companies that were targeted, right? So they're able to get back in business and do what they need to without paying anything, but this group still has it, right? But the big takeaway from this is that these groups should be scared now, right? So like we've talked about this before about the Justice Department doing things like this and them getting serious about what's going on because they are being targeted, right? A lot of these U.S. departments, even the three letters, right? Your CIAs, FBI, stuff like that, have been targeted in the past, right? So they're I don't want to say they're going on the offensive because we have seen them go on the offensive. We reported it before where they're going on the offensive and they're being multinational with some of the stuff that they're doing, right? But this is a win, right? So like this is a win for these companies that are being targeted by these ransomware groups. But my hope is that they don't get complacent, right? Because complacency can set in, and the companies could just be like, well, Uncle Sam got me. You know what I mean? I'll be all right if I don't follow the guidelines I'm supposed to. No, that should not be the lesson here, right? Like you were helped out, and you were given a little bit of a reprieve here, right? From having to pay, which we don't want you to do anyway, right? Like if you don't pay them, you don't make it profitable. It doesn't make it worth their time. Like they risk things like this happening to where it's all for naught for them, right? And again, they still have the information. They can end out on the dark web, right? And we'll get into that a little bit later. So pay attention in the week. We'll touch on that a little bit more later on in the week, right? A little bit of foreshadowing for you, right? I never went to like, movie making school or anything like that, but that's what that's
There you go. There you
you know
go.
what I mean? That's foreshadowing. But yeah, so like we've heard a lot about BlackCat, right? So it seems like every other week we're talking about them and what they've done, but this is one of those things where they haven't made any arrests in the operation for this, right? Because again, it was just them helping out the companies and giving them the decryption tool. But I'm curious if maybe if they're able to provide the decryption tool, like they had to have possibly traced them back, to certain people. That they may have been tracking, and I wonder if they got something in line, right? It could be another one of those multinational things where they go after people in this group. But right now they don't have anybody, but they should be afraid, right? Because we've seen this before in the past, like I mentioned before. But Ryan, what's your thoughts on this?
Yeah, absolutely. And we talked about this, I believe last week, if not the week before, where they put themselves on the radar. They're filing set complaints against the victims, right? Like they're doing a lot to draw attention. So it's only a matter of time. So it's very similar to what happened to Revo. So remember, Revo was either at the beginning of this year or the end of last year, 2022, where the same thing, Department of Justice came in. Grabbed the website and provided the tools to the victims. So there's a pattern here, right? Like it seems to be every 6 months to a year, Department of Justice is stepping in and cracking down and shutting these people down. So I would not be surprised if early next year we bring up ALPHV again, and then we talk about extradition and going to courts, and we discussed it probably 2 or 3 months ago, where it's going to become international law, right? You're going to go to a international tribunal for your hacking crimes now, which is pretty crazy, right? That's like being charged with a war crime. So it's getting pretty serious for hackers. So I don't know if the juice is quite worth the squeeze. Like, yeah, they are still making pretty good money over there on the red side, right? However, you'll see more and more of this happening where the US is stepping in, you're having those coalitions step in, and then you're going to start to see people start to have prison time. So I don't know. I would probably get out the game if I were them. But again, like maybe the juice is worth the squeeze, right? Like if you can't do the if you can't do the time, don't do the crime. Like maybe they're just like, hey, it's worth it. It's worth the gamble. So. I don't know. Like with between the regulations saying that you can't pay, especially on the European side, like they're not playing around. Like you will not be able to pay a ransom. And then the US side is starting to kind of formulate those strategies to do the same, right, without stepping on companies' freedoms, but there has to be some give and take in that regard. It's becoming less and less profitable, at least from our vantage point, for hackers to be to do this. Like again, it's different if you're doing it without asking for a ransom, like you're just kind of activist or whatever. Still super dangerous. But if you're asking for money, then you're definitely on somebody's radar. So. I don't know. Thinking 2024 might be the year we finally crack down, right? Like they've said that 2023. They said that 2022.
That's the hope. But so here's the thing. Here's another thing I hope, right? Like I hope this isn't a partisan issue either, right? Like if administrations should change in the US, like I hope the Department of
Right.
Justice, because they'll get new heads, right, over there at the departments, right? I'm hoping this is something that they say, hey, this applies across the board. Doesn't matter who's in power, what political party you belong to or anything like that. Like this affects everybody, right? Equally. It doesn't care. Like these guys are going through and they're attacking these companies like they don't care who you support, right? They just want that money, right?
Yeah.
They all support green. You know what I mean? They
Right. I
don't.
was gonna say, yeah, it's not a red or a blue issue, it's a green issue. So I think it'll change hands pretty readily to continue to protect those interests, right? Those corporations that are people or for some reason. I think it'll continue to pass through the administrations. But yeah, like you said, sometimes there are setbacks though when you do go from changing uh, political figures. Sometimes you do take a step back. But hopefully the infrastructure's been put in place, right? Like you have all of the stuff that came from the Obama administration to the Trump administration to now the Biden administration seems to really finally be putting it into stone that whomever takes over, whether it be another um, Republican or Democrat or whatever, that this continues to progress because we are actually making some traction. So like to see it keep going, and then obviously start to fill those seats because we always talk about there's so many vacancies, right? We just need more and more people in this sector. So hopefully that continues to grow as well. Um, Hell, we'll take some of the bad guys now because you need jobs. Come over to the blue side and bring some of those skills with you. But in all seriousness, hopefully everybody's having a great holiday weekend, right? Like if you're not, please take time for yourself to try to make it better. Take some time to relax, be with family, or hang out with yourself. Like just take some time for the holidays because 2024 is right around the corner. Hit us up for all of our episodes. Monday, Tuesday are topics, Wednesday discussion, Thursdays will be a throwback this week, but sometimes we have interviews, which are coming up in January. And then Friday, everything else, movies, books, games, all that good stuff. We'll talk about Christmas. So definitely tune into all the websites that go by our name. You can hit me up personally. I'm at RyRy Security Guy. That's RYRY Security Guy. You can find me on LinkedIn, Clubhouse, Twitter, and Threads. Stay safe, stay secure.